Welcome everybody. Sorry, took a second longer than I expected to change it. But this is the Horrified Heroes live draw, and this is a very cool concept. I've got a couple cool people here, and Erin, that's the one who keeps going in and out basically. So I don't know what's happening there, but you can see her. She has some beautiful hair. Is that a costume, Erin, or is that your daily look?
This is pretty much the daily look. Yes.
Great. It's something different, something we definitely not see every day, and I think it looks very cool.
I like it.
Don is also on the call, but he cannot be seen. So if he comments, you will hear him sometimes in the back.
The voice in the back.
So also you can see above Erin, this is the guy from Firefly, Adam Stothard. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you.
You got the dinosaur. Did you bring your lamp? The lamp you had last time for the Murat special?
I did bring my lamp. I stole it from my child's bedroom, and it's just run out. So
It's
it does
amazing. I love this
just
lamp.
about enough light to show it stays on. So I'm using the iPhone.
Perfect. And then next to Adam on the left, we have a vampire, which I don't know. I heard his name is Sam Gooley.
Well,
things go.
Does that translate?
I heard worse. Put it that way. Oh, hey, yes. Hello, good evening.
Sir Sam Gilbey in the house.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have the Joker Batman, or is it the Batman who laughs?
Who knows? But somehow I found out that he's Mexican.
Mexican Joker.
Mexican Joker, exactly. Okay, this is Orlando Arocena, aka Mexi Funk. He's in the house, and they were gonna do some live draw. As I mentioned before, it's gonna be the Horrified Heroes live draw. That means these four people, they picked some heroes of their for themselves, and they will horrify them in a live draw today, and this will be part of a giveaway, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
People are excited.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Something like that.
Perfect. Okay, guys, I'm gonna switch over so people can see what you are drawing, and this will definitely help you. So be ready, guys. Can I switch over?
I'm ready.
Perfect. The Joker is now you look like Darth Vader with like just the bottom part of his suit.
Yeah, man. Somebody copied Vader's costume hardcore, man.
And like the skin tone fits perfectly for Vader. Loving it. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna switch it over. You got the bat glasses on, and we're gonna.
I didn't know Batman was nearsighted.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, this one is.
Okay, my friends, I put it up. Everybody can see now what you are doing, and you're good to go. Go ahead, start the live draw. I will ask you guys question. What are you doing? What's up with that? Let's just go. Or I think Orlando really wants to talk. So.
Oh, man, I think I talked like 3 hours worth last time you and I basically got on this.
I
damn
know,
thing,
I know,
man.
and you didn't want to stop, so I'm just gonna give you some more stage.
So what's going on over there in Europe? How do they celebrate trick or treat, holiday, Halloween?
Not at all
over there, man.
today.
Not at all.
Not this year.
God, why are you still there, man? Jeez.
I'm not a big.
Can't leave.
I'm not a big Halloween guy, I have to say, but I'm a little scared if actually kids would go out. I have a balcony. I live almost on the first floor here, and they could either trick me really hard or I have to give them treats. I'm not sure.
Lord.
Okay, so
We just had there's just in our few streets there's like a kind of pumpkin trail just to check out. There's some decorations. So no one's doing trick or treating, but we were still out. So it's quite cool. But just less candy.
Less candy.
Well, the way you guys are looking, I'm surprised there's less candy.
I got some. Don't you worry.
Orlando looks like Tim Burton today.
Love.
I do.
Oh, somebody.
You do a little.
You know, I actually stopped him when I was a guard at the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Orlando, did
Yeah.
you
Following
close?
some
Did you
statues.
close something?
Oh.
Yes, you did.
No.
I can still see
But you won't
screen.
in a second. Hold
No.
up.
I didn't close
Go
anything.
check, please.
I lost.
Yes,
Is it
Desktop is
shared? Okay,
currently
then you're
shared
good.
with
It's
Tom's
not shared on
music.
my end, but no, it's Adam. Never mind, it's Adam.
Adam.
It's me.
Oh, all right,
Yeah,
man, you
something
bugging
cut
me
out
out.
for me, I think. Why?
Your
What's
your
closed?
desktop.
Sam, you're not up either.
Can you
My
send me the
desktop's
code
closed.
again?
That's
Thank you.
sure.
Much appreciated.
Send me the code.
More code.
Hello, Sarah Atwa. How are you?
So, like, if you guys don't celebrate Halloween over
We
in
do.
Germany, like, is it
Yeah,
just
basically,
Oktoberfest
but
and that's
I mean,
it?
we do, but the problem is here in Germany, it's not like in America or something like that where you have like so many houses that you can go to. Right. That's the problem.
Right.
I mean, like, you guys just have farms?
No,
then?
we have like more of like multiple
Exactly.
apartment houses.
I used to live in Germany, man. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay, Wolverine is back
Wolverine is back.
Wolverine's back.
because I can
And
already
he
tell you
doesn't know
guys.
why it's out, so he's wondering if it'll happen again.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Wolverine's on his way. And now, then you got to work on Sam Gilbey because all I can see is upset Christopher Reeve.
What more would you want?
That's true.
Oh my god. Too much, man.
Well, this
Too
is
much.
this is what I'm painting for my Halloween hero. So I do evil Superman from Superman 3.
Yes.
Evil Superman.
Aaron, what are you doing? I haven't heard you in a while.
I am doing Black Widow
Yes.
as a spider monster.
Okay.
lady.
So what was the name of the lady in the Spider-Verse in the original Spider-Man series? No, the
Gwen?
old one, Madam something. She had the
don't
chair and
remember, you're right.
everything, and like she had like the legs also.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh my god, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's gonna be annoying now.
I know.
Come on, people,
now it's-
people
we're
that
all
are
drawing, we
watching,
can't
let us
Google
know.
it.
Help us. I have an
Yeah,
awful
I
memory.
cannot open anything. My computer is at his. I see like I see all the 4 screens I have on OBS, and then I have all your 4 screens on my other 2 screens. It's like I don't know where to look.
He's all over the place.
You're like Lucius Fox at the end of Dark Knight.
Basically, that's what people are calling me. But today I'm Heisenberg for you. Say my name.
Right, there we go.
Adam, why did you choose Wolverine?
I'm a big X-Men fan, or I was when I was a lot younger. So when you said hero, I suddenly thought, well, it's got to fall into the X-Men, and Wolverine for me sort of just sums up that 90s era of
Yeah,
all
definitely.
the X-Men cartoons and all the other bits and
Did you see the amazing
nostalgia?
Madam Web? There we go. Thank you, Lucas Per. I was
Thank you.
something along the lines there. Adam, did you see the Juan Ramos piece, the X-Men one he did for the series?
Yes, I did.
That was amazing.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Just
Yeah,
came
yeah.
screaming back with the with all the nostalgia bits. It just felt so. I mean, I had graphic novels, all the annuals and things like that, with that kind of art just caked across the front.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely brilliant to
Yeah,
to
it's
see
a
something
gorgeous
like that.
piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have here some different styles, as you can see. We have 3 times people are working in Photoshop, and then we have Mr. Vector himself, the Vector Man,
God, letting the team down.
Maxi Vec.
Mexivec.
What are you talking about, man?
and he's working in Illustrator. And what can you tell us about the process? Maybe one of you wants to, like, while he or she is working, could elaborate on the process here.
Which process? My process?
All of your, I mean,
Eat a lot of tacos.
it must be a little bit different working in Illustrator and Photoshop.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is, man. No doubt about it. You know, there's different ways. I mean, I could have started this traditionally and started putting down some line work and sketch it out, you know. But for the sake of time, I'm just trying to make shapes and fill them in with color. That's one thing that I love about Illustrator over from what I used to play with Photoshop, where, you know,
Yeah.
I think about the shape, I see the lighting, and right away I'm able to manipulate it in real time without spending too much time on everything else. You know?
Yeah. And Andy Ferris is in the house. He's in the chat. Andy, how are you doing, man?
Woo. Andy's hung up.
Andy got scared. He just ran away.
So, Erin, how's your process? Is that how you approach also a movie poster, or is that something different?
Pretty much any illustration, I'll start with like a very rough sketch, and then I will, you know, what I just did was like lower the opacity on that super rough sketch so I can do a new layer and go into more detail. And I'll just kind of do that process a couple of times until it gets, you know, to the final stage for the line art, and then I'll do the coloring after that.
Okay. Sam, on your end, why did you pick Superman?
Well, just, you know, he's kind of, well, growing up, the original like Superman movie, and to a lesser extent like 2 and 3, they were just like my most kind of favorite things. He was my favorite character. Like Christopher Reeve was just so awesome as Superman. Like, and in Superman 3, he's also awesome when he just plays evil Superman. Even though it's kind of a crazy, ridiculous scene where he's fighting like Clark Kent in the junkyard. But he always brought it. He was always like, I mean, look at his face here. I mean, that's proper. That's a proper actor there. It's great. So I just thought, yeah, that'd be a fun way to do, you know. And I was thinking, I said initially, like, oh, do Bizarro, you know, as kind of like evil Superman, right? But then I remembered, actually, this could kind of be fun. And this was one of the first movies I saw at the cinema. Cool. So it has you know, there's a good, you know, obviously it's not the best one, but still, you know, it's fun.
How do you make this one even more scarier?
Well, I think when you're illustrating it, I'm going to be able to kind of increase the contrast. I mean, an obvious thing I could do here would be add some glowing eyes, like go a bit Homelander, maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it ends up. In my defense, this is like streaming the screen is really like slowing my machine down. So if I end up with a terrible painting, it's not my
that's
fault.
what they all say. You know, I have 4 screens.
Squeeze something that usually takes 40 hours into 40 minutes.
I have 4 screens that are shared.
Yeah, but what you painting?
I cannot even paint. I couldn't even open program. I closed everything down.
I like Erin's going goth widow.
Yes.
I like
It reminds me a little bit of, did anybody of you watch the movie Shinobi from 2005 or something like that?
Shinobi.
And that blue light.
It's a Japanese one. It's like a really cool samurai movie. The Shinobi story is from Ninja Cougar Scrolls. I think that was the anime from the early 90s, I think it was.
Ninja Scroll.
Yeah, and it had like this dude with the hair, with the long hair, and the like those little arms that he, like those little like threads that he could shoot. And that reminds me a little bit of what Erin's Black Widow looks like, like hair-wise.
Nice.
I think that was called Ninja Scroll.
Yeah.
In the UK. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it had multiple titles, but I think that's the one we're talking about.
Oh, it's proper violent. I remember that one because I'd seen Akira at that point, and then it's like, let's try some others. It's like, whoa,
Fist of the
It's
North
not
Star.
ready for that. Yeah,
But it was really cool. I had a lot of fun with that one. Orlando, what's yours gonna be? Is it gonna be the Batman Who Laughs, or like a zombie Batman?
I think I'm gonna do like a slash zombie type of broken cow, Walking Dead type of mashup, type of mix,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
How was it? How did you like the DC zombie verse thing they did?
Oh man, that they
It was
every time
good.
I see a new cover, man, I'm in love with it. I just
Yeah.
love the way that they're handling it. I love the kind of the airbrushy look of it.
Yeah.
You know, I love it when you're able to see a piece of digital that shares a little bit of analog, because I know that the artist is playing around in traditional means, and then just like other other moments within the career, you're bringing that into Photoshop, and you're like boosting up saturation, or you're just finessing
Hmm.
it. But I love seeing the analog versions of things,
Yeah.
just like Marco mentioned in the previous gathering, session. I think that it's, well, at least for me, it's seeming that there's a lot more digital artists that are wanting to go back into playing with analog, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? As an artist, you shouldn't have to feel like, oh man, I can only stay and choose one. No, I mean, art is all about, growing and continuing to follow your creative passions, your endeavors, your creative voice. You should never be, painted into a corner, you know. Says the guy who only plays in Photoshop. I mean, Illustrator. Um, no, actually, I do play in Photoshop. I really do.
Your
When I'm
secret's out. Your secret
no, when I
Uh-oh.
well,
Already
When
easy,
no
get
one's
there.
looking, what does he do?
easy there. No, when I'm actually, pressed for time, or on a particular project that has many, many assets, and it has, like, a big whoop-de-doo for future marketing promotions, I'll get all these assets, and what I'll end up doing is that I'll start with sketch,
Yeah.
a traditional sketch, and then I'll start populating everything in Photoshop as far as like scenery and main case assets, and then from there I'll just go, okay, I have at least a good visual, set of railways to keep intact with, and now let's just really go against the grain and just make a mess out of it, interpret it whichever way I want.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Orlando, you
Um,
also do analog work, so let's hear something about that.
with analog, I mean, the beautiful thing about analog now is that when you have people interested in commissioning you for something like that, they understand not the handicap, but kind of the watch outs. That it's just not like, hey, you know what? We're in our third round. We want to go back and change that person's expression and face. In Photoshop, you go back, put on a new layer. In Illustrator, you put on a new layer.
Yeah.
In analog, you're like, ah, Jesus,
Start
man. So you
again.
get bond paper, you start cutting out, like, okay, I'm going to paste this here, because there's no sense in starting the whole damn composition from scratch. So you're doing a lot of paste up work, and I'm glad that I learned that early on from my days, at Pratt Institute back in the '90s. When the computer wasn't there yet. We didn't have the internet at all, and I'm glad that I had my professors that kind of taught me, like, the secrets to that stuff. What kind of bond paper to use, stay away from really really smooth, cold press type stuff. So
Cool.
today, it's a big factor. It's not that common, but it's becoming more exclusive as far as behind the scenes. Like, oh man, you know what? People are wanting, jobs are being priced higher than for analog than digital these days, just because of the exclusivity of having that original piece. And the
Yeah.
same is true with some of the gallery owners, or some of the gallery distributors that are out there. You know, people like Acme, which does a lot of the Star Wars stuff. If you do an analog piece, sure, you're being commissioned to do
Adam,
a print that's
sorry
going to
that I have
sell.
to
Did I just drop
interrupt
out
you.
again?
Adam is gone again for a second, but Orlando, continue, please.
You know,
Am I back?
is everybody
No,
back?
Adam needs to send me a new code.
Oh yeah, we're good. Keep going, Orlando.
Keep talking, Lando.
Keep going,
Go
keep
for
going.
3 hours. Go for 3 hours, dude. Go for 3 hours.
Been there, done that.
No, but honestly, what's going on with the gallery scene is that when you do an original piece that's intended to go for a limited series, and you do it analog, you get to not only get paid to do the limited series, but now you have a certain token, which is the exclusivity of the main piece, the authenticity of that, and that's not tied into the contract. You could offer it up to the requesting, licensee who's doing the limited prints, and you could go, I'll sell this to you. And if they say, well, no, we're not interested in buying it, then you're making extra money on top of the limited series. Now you have an exclusive piece of original art that you could sell to anybody regarding the contract that you signed, because the contract implies that you have that power to sell it on your own. You just have to offer it up to the main house first. So for you guys doing all that stuff out there, or beginning to want to break into limited edition prints and all that, but you still have passion for your analog, stick with it.
Yeah,
It pays.
And the other thing as well, you see artists more and more kind of putting their original sketch up for sale. So if you're doing your initial kind of concepts for a limited poster, yeah, sell the poster, but there's no reason why then you can't actually make your original sketch available for sale, even if the final artwork is digital,
Oh, good point, man.
that kind of thing too. So I say that I never get around to doing that. I feel like my background was in traditional media and painting and drawing, but digital is so powerful, so fast, so easy. Even my sketches these days tend to be done on the Cintiq or the iPad sometimes. So
I have a quick question, guys.
but
For everybody, there was a great discussion in terms of using reference for movie posters. And I mean,
Yep.
as we can see clearly, Sam has a reference here, drawing his Horrified version. How is it for you as an artist? Do you see, obviously Sam doesn't see it shamefully to use reference, but is that something that people talk about, or is it something totally natural? Because there was like a debate and people were saying like, hey, this is a no-go for me, this is not original art, blah, blah, blah.
Sure. Well, I mean, from my point of view, I've just always liked painting portraits, working from a reference. I mean, I do other stuff too, but for me, it's like, well, if it's good enough for Caravaggio and Dries Struyzen, then it's good enough for me. So I don't really, I understand, like, you can make the argument, but the fact is, so in this case, this is just, I'm just working from a reference, and it's like a low quality reference. So, you couldn't make a decent photo from it, but you can repaint it and get something that's kind of in your style, and kind of make the idea of painting from a reference is kind of make something that's greater than the sum of the parts, but also, like, for instance, like even in here, you tend to actually use several references. So yeah, there might be one portrait that you're using as a key reference for the face, but in some cases you might take the lighting from another reference, and so it ends up being more of a hybrid than it might necessarily look like. So like I've got a sharper photo of his hair that I can use for reference for that. So but also, yeah, if you think of like a collage poster, again, the whole point is like, yeah, you might start with individual references, but the goal is to make something that the way that you lead the viewer's gaze around the poster, around the composition, that's really that's the art form in as much as the actual painting and capturing a likeness. But yeah, I mean, my first point here is like I make some tracing lines for the face, same as like Drew does with his projector, and but the point is those pencil lines in my case, they're not going to be in the final thing. I get rid of that layer, and let me tell you, it's like entirely possible to mess up a likeness even having done that. It's really just a time saver to get you going. And there's other ways you could do it, like you could like make a grid over your image and kind of do like work out the references from that. That's kind of another way to go. Or if you're a student and you're learning, then it's totally worth just starting with a blank canvas, a blank piece of paper, and seeing how close you can get. But when you're working commercially and you have a deadline, the fact is, it's like, how quick can I get this done? So that's really the primary concern. It's about your brush marks and your technique that's going to get you through. And if you can save time capturing that likeness with some initial kind of pencil work, then I think that's fine. But I totally get why other people don't want to do that or see that as cheating. But if you look at art history, that's basically what a lot of people have done for hundreds of years. So
The thing
I'm
is
good with it.
that James,
Yeah, I mean, reference sheets, man, is needed, man. It's just like just like Sam mentioned. I mean, when you have deadlines and you have specific goals that the piece has to hit, you can't be just half-assing it. You need to accommodate to the likenesses, and you need the reference. Now it's up to the artist if you want to copy it exactly as the photograph, or you want to basically deliver something that's unique and different than what everybody else might be offering at the time.
Yeah.
Sam has has the curse of having to be requested to do over 50 different faces on one composition.
Yeah, I tried to imagine them all in my head, but I couldn't.
Oh my God, I wish you could just put like a Waldo figure in there and be like, "Where's Waldo?" in all of these faces.
Yeah, totally. Well, maybe they're in.
Congrats to all your success, brother, man. I love your work, man.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Also, James Hobson just mentioned in the continue, please. Yeah, good. Thank you, Sam. James Hobson just mentioned in the chat that people are even bullied for using references, and it's crazy out there.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And
Which is
Hey,
really
let them look at my monthly bank statement. We'll figure out who's being bullied or who's laughing at the end of that.
Yeah, I know, but there's like, especially I think they probably wouldn't do that to you because maybe you're too big or whatever. But the thing is, in the end, that they do it to like smaller artists, which is kind of sad to see.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, that's just that's a misunderstanding of art history, basically. The whole point, art all through the generations has used. We've always been the first to adopt technology. Whether it's Caravaggio using the camera obscura, and there's a reason why Renaissance paintings suddenly get so realistic, and it's because they're using. But there's a really interesting study by David Hockney. If you look back at some of the Caravaggio paintings, basically it's like, why is everyone left-handed? And there's things like that, and it's because they're flipping the image that they're using for reference. Where in that case, obviously, there's actually someone like a model, but. When you're drawing film stars, obviously you can't get them to come to your house.
I can.
Imagine.
Okay, let's touch on a little bit, like Cosell pointed out. Also, it went from referencing into towards tracing. What does tracing mean, and what does it mean for you, Erin? Could you say something on that?
Yeah, actually, just like everyone else was saying, when you're on a deadline and you're doing likenesses, a lot of the time you're going to start out with a tracing. But the funny thing for me is that even if I were to trace a reference image exactly, the drawing for me would not look right. So it starts out as a tracing, but then you adjust everything because I've literally done it where I've traced a photo of a movie star or whatever, and it looks wrong when it's just the line art. So I have to adjust things. You have to make this smaller. You have to move this. You have to take this line out. It's about what you leave out, what you put in. So even if you're starting out with tracing, it's so much more than that. All the other skills that you have developed throughout your career and throughout your schooling or whatever you do for studying, that all comes into play. So it's easy to think, oh, it's just a tracing, but there's so much more that goes into it than that. So so every working artist that I know uses reference. And the best thing is to combine a bunch of references. I always take reference photos of myself. For instance, in this sketch, I'm going to want her hand to be like this. And it's I need to take a picture of it and then, add that in there. So, the best bet is to just use wide variety of reference so that you're not copying one particular thing, because that's just not gonna look great, and you could get in trouble for that. So,
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I think that's a very interesting topic, especially when you deeper into the alternative movie poster scene. I mean, the internet gives space for bullying, like in every kind, especially when you look at like groups, like certain groups that are too big and that only like maybe 10 or even less moderator can handle. And this is where it's going to go. And this is a sad thing to see, that people's careers get like trashed or whatever, and that these things happen.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
real shame, for sure.
Yeah.
But as an artist, you can't, what can you do? You just got to keep on doing what you're inspired to do.
Yeah. I mean,
Not everyone's gonna like it, and that's fine. I'm not doing it for anyone other than me, really.
yeah, the internet's full of bullies. It'll, you've kind of got to brush a lot of it off. I mean, everything you do, not everyone's going to like
not.
everything you do. So
Yeah.
you've just got to be able to, suck it up. And if you sort of, I don't know, suck it up, that's wrong to say. You've just got to almost ignore half the people who, if they've got something bad to say about it and you enjoy doing it, then that's what you're doing it for. You're doing it for you.
Steve just mentioned a very cool point. His friend Walter, he keeps a full-length mirror next to his drawing table in order to create references from himself. I think that's a very funny tidbit.
That's a good, yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the old Disney model, you know. I had a professor who used to have a school over at Disney, and every summer they would recruit artists and all that. But anyway, their big contribution to the scene was that they all said, hey, keep a mirror, multiple mirrors at different lengths, and different sizes, so that you're able to really express and capture whatever you're going after, whether it's lighting, expression, detail within the face, posing. So it's really valid. It's really valid.
By the way, guys,
it's
we
cool,
have 12 more minutes.
Yeah, I break mirrors, so I don't stare too often into
We
them.
have 12 more minutes, so just letting you know.
That's it.
No, it
So
doesn't
speed
have
up.
to be finished. But
No, it doesn't have to be finished.
we can finish
Yes.
later. You can finish later.
It's definitely not going to be finished.
But
No, but to go back to the tracing thing, if I could just add in one last thing, is that, a lot of vector artists out there tracing, and it's still very common, to see out there. When I first signed on to the Posse, being one of the older members there, I would try to encourage some of the illustrators that were there to not trace, to try to make it look a bit more personalized, a bit more authentic, So I might have been a bit hard on a few of them, but I soon developed the notion that I was like, you know what, tough teachers push for the right reasons. Big brothers, they just care. You know what I mean? And I'm glad to see that majority of them have really pushed themselves beyond the tracing aspect. So mad props to all you out there.
Definitely. And yeah, I'd say for anyone who is like starting to be an artist and wants to develop their skills, then learning without doing that is absolutely essential,
Yeah.
Like I remember a thing we did at like art school was like the teacher would just get a bunch of paper, like sort of 30 sheets of paper, and just scatter them on the floor, and then you had to kind of draw that from just from where you were. And something like that is actually is really tricky and a really good way to kind of develop your hand-eye coordination. So as would be drawing a portrait, so just it's worth trying all those things. But if you're lucky enough to become a commercial artist, then you're definitely looking for any way to save an hour or two.
Yeah,
So,
by far.
So it's that kind of thing, really, that kind of balance to strike.
And yeah, what did I hear? There's that famous quote that, like, it took me 30 years to learn how to make a logo in 20
Yeah.
minutes or whatever it is. And yeah, that's definitely, you have to practice life drawing. You have to practice gesture drawing. Like you have to do all that stuff ahead of time. Again, in order to be able to make the correct decisions, even if you're starting out from, using a lot of reference. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Because it's the experience in knowing, like, yeah, how to make this adjustment that's going to work, and you kind of become a bit more like psychic in a way of like, if I do this, this will work, and if I do that, it won't. And
Yeah.
you're kind of you're second guessing yourself. But yeah, if there's a deadline coming up, then you just gotta do it. So I think I was listening to an interview with like Dan Mumford the other day on the Mark and Me podcast, and he was exactly, yeah. He's also meant like he like he was. The question was, do you ever have time to draw for fun? And he was like, well, no, I don't. And that's all the kind of the study aspect of like learning how to draw is kind of the stuff that you no longer get time to do. So it's like you got to put the time in to get good enough, but once you're good enough, then you can, I'd say, use the technology to your advantage. But
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is also viable too. When you get to a certain level, and you've got your reoccurring clients, and you're building upon new clients, then you're able to really sit back and be content upon the fact that you can take a moment of pause to say, wow, I'm really happy that I'm able to collaborate with brands and companies and studios that want to do fun stuff. I'm one that it's completely just like, I'll read a brief and I'll get an offer and I'll go, I'll do my research on the agency and who's leading what, who's the account director. I mean, I do so much before I say yes, because I want to make sure that I'm going to jump in with a team that has the same outlook, wants to have fun, isn't just like a stress ball and they regret wanting to do this project. If you're an artist who's regretting to say yes to a project, then take a moment, think, and be smart about it. It's your life. It's a collaboration, and your name's going to go on that collaborative piece. If you're not in it to win it and you don't want to have fun, then don't say yes. It's okay to say no in this industry. It's perfectly okay to say no, because then you're not sacrificing anything, or you're not putting anything at risk.
Coming back to your pieces that you did, I think that was just a very interesting talk, and we have 6 more minutes, so let's talk about your pieces before we are finished here. Adam, we talked about, you picked Wolverine. What is the story here behind your Wolverine? Is there a Marvel story that you could create from this?
Well, I mean, they did their the Marvel sort of zombie-esque thing, didn't they? Which, it's always been cool. I've been meaning to get around to reading some of them properly, but I've seen so much of the illustration. It looks amazing. But this was sort of me just thinking, right, horror, superhero, let's kind of just build on something and have a bit of fun with this.
What?
I mean, I'm trying to squeeze something that's sort of 40 hours into 40 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of stuff I do, and it's sort of like, well, it's a bit rough and ready, but it's sort of showing process for me.
It looks great, I have to say.
Thank you.
And but what would your zombie Wolverine do? Like he's.
This is it. From drawing this, I've kind of realised that with his powers, could he be a zombie? Does it even work? I don't.
Right?
I think it did.
Drawing
Right?
bits of him falling off, and they're going, yeah, but that's Wolvie. That kind of, isn't he always got something falling off him at some point?
But I think the Marvel zombie verse, I think he was a zombie, but I'm not sure.
And there you go. I've probably kicked out again. Haven't
He
I?
was the best looking, best looking zombie.
He wins
out
the
there.
award.
Never aged.
Oh my god, you just got me cracking up on that, dude. That's fucking.
Okay, and Erin, what is your story behind your Black Widow? Is there something you imagine for her to do, or what is her character like?
She's pretty gross.
That's a good start.
I've got, you know, lots of good vision.
Lots of good vision. I love the eyes, by
No,
the way.
I
That's a very cool idea.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah, I like creepy eyeballs. So, um, so yeah, I don't know, just general mayhem. I'm not sure if how she got this way. Maybe some kind of government experiment or something.
Ooh,
Um,
government.
but yeah, I don't know. Just she's a real
What
creep.
would you say? What did she win, like in terms of skills or like superhero skills? You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm. Right. Well, I mean, she can obviously climb on anything, upside down, walls, whatever, all that stuff. And so since she basically like didn't really have any actual superpowers, this is a big
Is
change
she
for
poisonous?
her. Of course,
Yes.
yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Poison,
And
venom,
Sam,
yeah.
what would you say? Like, what is yours? Does your Superman version have different powers, or does he just have explosive diarrhea?
Well, I don't know about that, but my machine's decided to beach ball. So if you look, he's got a new vision power there. It's got a beach balling eye. It's going to hypnotize. You can now hypnotize Clark Kent.
So,
There's that.
so he's a vampire now.
Yeah, he's a vampire now, but he will be by the time I'm finished.
And there you go. Steve just pops in. Superman should have fangs.
Oh.
There we go. I'll put that in.
Right on time. Okay, and same question for you, Orlando.
Happens when you don't have Ricola on stage and you're Christian Bale having to talk like this all the time.
Oh.
Or did somebody forget to get the stunt double out of his outfit?
He doesn't want to let go of the role. This is his reaction after he heard that Ben Affleck was going to be in the suit for a little while.
Yeah, it was. Is there like this thing? There's this meme where they did like R2D2 because it was there was Kenny Baker in it. You know that Kenny Baker was forgotten in the
Right.
R2. This kind of vibe.
Don't know. I don't know, man. You just,
Wow.
you just got me good, man. You just hit me like right in the gut while I was like having a hamburger or something, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It was
One
like
of those
it was just like it. I never seen you speechless. It was like I was like, what's gonna? Did he lose connection? What happened?
It does
Yeah.
not happen. Right now.
Must be buffering.
Yeah, sorry about
Oh my God.
all the buffering this then.
You just wait till this COVID is over, my friend. Me and the wife and the family are going to Europe for quite a while because I need a break after all this, man. It's nonstop, which has been good. But no, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to go out and
Hop on over, man. Hop on over. We're here.
Come and see the farms.
Exactly.
can't wait. Come see the farms.
Wow,
Nice.
people. Wow. Okay. So time's up, but we also have
Giveaway?
a little giveaway. But maybe Dawn in the off can tell us something about it.
This giveaway is spectacular. It's creepy. It's different than what you've seen from this artist before. And it is. Is Tom showing it? Is he
I
sharing
can't
it?
show it this time, so you have to tell.
Oh. Okay. Well, back in the day, Orlando did a painterly version of it, Pennywise, and it is so cool. There you go. It's definitely different than his vector style, but you guys, trust me. Later on, we will post it for you to see, and you guys can enter to win it. This is definitely a print you're going to want to have. It's very, very cool. It's on point with Halloween, and you will be very happy to put this up on your wall.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
And throw it.
Adam lost us in the last minute here, but this stuff it looks really cool, and I love all the work you've done so far, and I can't wait to see the finished version. It will be up on the Posse's Instagram page and Twitter, also on Drop Mag. And for the giveaway, please enter the post that we do after the session here, or after the whole day, actually, after the Posse Palooza is over. And yeah, I can't wait what you guys came up with and what the final version looks like. So thank you for doing this. Thank you to show your progress here. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Sam and Orlando. And a couple of you I will see a little bit later. And next up will be our all-female roundtable, the representation roundtable. So don't miss that. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye.
And we're off.